Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank y'all so much for stopping by again today. Shout out to the NTZ crew. I know y'all on here. There's Jacob Tanjay. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. I know Michael Beach Your Life is going to be on here. Shout out to all my fourth quarter members. What's up, Jeffrey Tatter? What times it travels? Beach Your Life. Hey, what's up, Lex Will? Welcome to the fourth quarter, man. Thank you for your support. Chief, what's up? All my old heads, what's up, Mario, Raymond Walker, T. Williams, man, thank y'all. Any new viewers and subscribers checking in, today. Anybody catching this on replay? The peso was 57.17 before I went live, which is good. What's up, Q in the Philippines? We always have a topic. Today's topic is, what is she saying in your face? Is it time to learn her language? But of course, there's a whole lot going on, man. You know, y'all think I just be on here talking. It's about time y'all give Sunshine Shoulders some respect, man. Put some respect on my name. When I made the video, I said, hey, will you be safe in the Philippines, all around the world, when the United States attacks Iran? Oh, it's not going to happen, Cal. This and that and that and this. Well, it's happened. Okay? Unconstitutional strikes on Iran. You know, Trump defied his intelligence community out in the open in front of the whole world. Said they didn't know what they were talking about. He's going by what Israel says. So we've attacked, and we're directly involved in the war with Iran and Israel. Be careful, guys. We're not safe anywhere right now. I wouldn't be flying anywhere right now. Okay, because what's going to happen is the Muslim world is going to rally around Iran. This was unprovoked. Iran is not a threat to the United States or the world. What it is a threat to is white supremacy. That's all this is about, guys. Okay? Imagine telling Iran, oh, you can't have nuclear weapons when you've got nuclear weapons. You've used nuclear weapons against other human beings. And Israel has its own nuclear weapon program, even though it's not even a part of the nuclear proliferation treaty. They're conducting their nuclear program in secret because white supremacy says that only white people have the ability to make the right type of judgment. Our culture and our values are superior to everybody else's, so we're going to impose them on the rest of the world. We need to end white supremacy for the good of us all, guys, or we're going to keep on fighting wars like this. The United States no longer has any say in what's going on with Ukraine and Russia because we're engaging in the same bullshit, man. And, I told y'all, I said, I hope I'm wrong, but you don't have to be a rocket scientist, man. A rocket scientist, rather, to know that Trump was going to invade Iran. He was going to bomb Iran. You didn't have to, be some type of war historian. If you were around when the Iraq war was going on, or right before, you could see the same thing was going on with Iran. And the same people involved, same warmongers speaking the same bullshit. So yeah, guys, keep your head on a swivel. That's all I'm going to say about it. But put some respect on my name. Put some respect on my name when I made the video the other day of why people are not coming to the Philippines anymore. It's not the damn infrastructure. But I wanted y'all to hear it from the horse's mouth. The Interior and Local Government Secretary, he clearly said it. We're not safe. That's what tourists feel. They're not safe. These high-profile cases, from the outside looking in, it seems like Philippines isn't doing enough. When are the people going to go to court about Elliot Eastman? You're never going to hear anything about that. His death reverberated around the world. People heard that. They're saying, hey, well, hell, if they're going to kill him and nothing's being done. The South Koreans are staying away. The Chinese are staying away, man. They feel their citizens are being targeted. And they feel, they said it from their own mouth, their embassies, their consulates. You're not doing enough to protect our citizens. So we're telling them don't even come. But y'all want to keep talking about the damn infrastructure. You don't come to a tropical paradise like the Philippines for the damn infrastructure, man. Don't talk about infrastructure to me anymore. Yeah, if you're going to relocate here and live here for the rest of your life, should that play a bigger role in your decision? Absolutely. But they're talking about tourists. The Philippines was booming pre-pandemic. The amount of time people were staying here was longer, was increasing. The money they were spending was increasing. It was all on the up and up. With these high-profile cases, which have been going on for some time, man, they're not satisfied with the solutions, man. So they're staying away. Look at the guy. Let's see what's going to happen with the American that just got killed and his Filipino wife. Okay, they got a suspect, but this is why people are afraid. It's not because the Philippines is some bad place. I live here. I feel safer here. There's very little random crime here. It's usually targeted. What's up, Marlon? What's up, Ron? Grinding all my life. But when somebody has never been to the Philippines, who's contemplating it, who's on the outside 8,000 miles away looking over here, they're saying, man, it's dangerous over there. Are we safe over there? Can they protect us over there? No, my comments aren't a little slow, dude. We've already bombed. He said it out of his own mouth. Jeff Beckett. I mean, that's all on the news. Where you been? You always got to take up for him. You're not going to be over there fighting. You're not flying any of them planes over there, dropping bombs. We've bombed 3 nuclear sites in Iran. We're directly involved in the war now. It doesn't matter what you say, Jeff. You know, it's okay. Now, you don't think Iran is going to, even if they are close, you don't think that they're going to go full speed ahead now to develop a nuclear weapon? Because if they had a nuclear weapon, these old white men wouldn't be invading them. The United States is not trying to invade Pakistan, okay, which is part of the axis of evil. They're not trying to invade North Korea because they got that damn nuclear weapon. Okay, they're holding back against Russia and anybody else with the nuclear weapon. Okay, of course it's going to hit the fan. It's already hit the fan. But if I say it, you get a pushback from people like Jeff Beckett. But everybody on the YouTube and on the internet and television is talking about it now. See, I'm not going to hold back anymore. Y'all think I just be on here talking, man? Put some respect on my name, Jeff Beckett. You don't know what's going on. Hey, what's up, I Love the Chon? Confident Voice Speaks. I'm more worried about the United States having a nuclear weapon. Bill Likens, you don't think that non-white people can make the right decision? You don't think we're moral and capable of doing the right thing? Only white folks? When, by the way, the United States is the only nation that's ever dropped that damn nuclear weapons on another human being, man. Stop with this foolishness. But it's okay for Israel to have a nuclear weapon? Y'all crazy, man. Don't come on here talking about me today, because I'm not with it. And plus, it's unconstitutional. Okay, his intelligence community said they're nowhere near building a atomic weapon, nuclear weapons, but Israel said they are. So he took the word of Israel. Then why in the world did you even appoint your head self and what's the other lady's name that said, no, they're far away from, they're nowhere near. a nuclear weapon. Now he says she don't know what she, is it Gabbard? It's her last name. And then people like you, Bill Likens and Jeff Beckett, get on here with that MAGA bullshit. Only white folks are supposed to have the atomic weapons, the nuclear weapons. Now you see why they want it. It's a deterrent. Doesn't mean they're going to use it like the United States did. Nobody want to hear that bullshit y'all talking about. What's up, Matt? I'm tired of that stuff, man. Unsubscribe from me if you want. I don't care. I'm going to give it to you now. Y'all don't want it coming from me. You're going to get it anyway. He ain't speaking for himself. He said Trump is about to speak shortly about those bombings. But Jeff Beckett acts like it didn't happen. They're talking about, oh, you want Iran to have the nuclear weapon. I'm not worried about. We already see what the devil looks like. We want to know where's God now. We see what the devil looks like. All you got to do is look over there in Gaza. I'm more afraid of Israel using their nuclear weapons on Iran. Okay, let's get real. They've shown who they are. Starving innocent men, women, children, babies over there. Won't even allow aid to get in. No independent journalists or anybody in there. Okay, don't talk this stuff to me. I'm 62 years old. I've been around for a long, long time. Yeah. They were even contemplating nuclear weapons if that didn't get it done. You know, we talk about this stuff, Doubtful Genius, like, oh, we're playing football. Those bunker bombs and 30 Tomahawk missiles did a job, killed a lot of people over there. I guarantee you that. You are taking up for him. Just saying, in case it did happen. You know, that's all I'm saying. It did happen. You telling me that I'm jumping the gun when all the news sources out there, even Trump is going to tell you that he dropped the bombs already on 3 nuclear sites. So what are you talking about? He said, I see articles all the time saying the Philippines isn't safe. He said, Trump showed his true colors and screwed us all bad. Now the entire world hates the U.S., and it's a war we can't win. But it doesn't matter because AIPAC and the Israel lobbyists and, you know, imagine these people get on here like Q in the Philippines, Richard. They want to talk about this immigration is not the problem. But they don't say anything about the billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars we sent to Israel. For what? Okay, to commit a genocide over there? But you're not saying anything about that. You're not saying anything about the economy. The economy is more important than this immigration stuff. Ask the people. Weapons of mass destruction and all that. Of course it's real. He said, Tony, he says, hey fam, this shit is real. I'm here in the Middle East and we're bracing for an attack on our location. I still don't understand why our government made this choice. Because you're dealing with a guy. How would you even know if Trump were demented anyway? When, you know, this 2 weeks stuff, man, come on, guys. To have him leading the country and to have him in control of the nuclear codes, guys, 3.5 years is not going to go by fast enough. But you got these megas on here. Now what they got to say? The whole mega split now because Trump comes in as a peace president. There's no reason we're supposed to be over there fighting Iran. We're fighting Israel's war for them again. That's just what it is, guys. Call it what it is. Yeah, that's right. You know, what in the world? You're lying. Who are you? It's all subjective, Bill. You don't think that the Palestinians and the people in Libya and Syria and Beirut, you know, in Lebanon, you don't think that they're calling America And Israel terrorists? Come on, man. And if they was, would you blame them? That's propaganda that you speaking on here, bruh. You got time for that? It's propaganda. He said, I seen you, brother Cal, from jump, always with the real. Yeah, they're going to listen to me now. I'm not, I'm just 62. I've been around the block a few times. I'm not some, visionary. I can see way out in the future what nobody else can see. A lot of you are in denial about a lot of things. That's all. I'm not in denial. I knew that America was going to get involved when Israel struck first, because without America, they don't have a chance against Iran. They would have had to pull out their nuclear weapons. Been talking about, this for how many years? How many decades? Well, you're a fool because you're talking hypothetically, Bill. Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons. The United States does, and they've used them. Now put that in your pipe and smoke it. And stop speaking hypothetically. Let's live in the moment, Bill. They don't have nuclear weapons. They've never had nuclear weapons. Okay? And if they had them now, we wouldn't be over that. Okay? I'm done with you. It is a deterrent. Hey, what's up, Blizzard Abroad? Yeah, we've seen the devil. No matter what y'all try to say, if I just all of a sudden woke up today and looked at the newspaper and everything that's going on, I'd be like, well, yeah, they're the devil. That's the devil. If I never knew what the devil was and all the shit that they pull, all the innocent people they kill, y'all act like we didn't kill 1 million people over in Iraq and Afghanistan. And we didn't spend trillions of dollars over there for nothing. Thousands of our best and brightest young soldiers. Our leaders, man. Are no longer, they're cemetery dead. Okay? He said, Cal, your latest videos got me on DEFCON 3. When our boots on the ground is coming in October for a month, I'm going to invest into a Vasco translator, V4, a Fluent Talk, Time Kettle, T1 Mini. Well, yeah, if you're just going to stay up in Luzon, because they're going to translate the Tagalog. But when you start moving around and you come to the majority of the country is speaking Visayan or some form of Visayan, Cebuana, it's not going to work. Yeah, they're back and forth. Yeah. Yeah, you already posted it. But they get on here with this foolishness. It's not fresh news. I'm way over in the Philippines. He said, I learned it less than 1 hour ago. But the point of my video was they're going to wake up a sleeping giant. Y'all act like it's not a sleeping giant over here. These sleeper cells are all over the world. They've been preparing for this for a long, long time. They're awaiting their marching orders. You better keep your head on a swivel. Y'all don't realize that I brought y'all the news that they were warning expats over in Thailand about 5 months ago, where a lot of Israel, they were actually warning Israeli citizens over in Thailand that there was a credible terrorist threat against them. Okay, I said that, not those Thailand vloggers over there who are not going to say anything like that. Okay, I'm over here in the Philippines because you have to understand, guys, that stuff's happened over there before. Now it's more of a credible threat. When they see these unprovoked attacks, they're going to rally around the Muslim Brotherhood. Okay, I told y'all a long time ago, Muslims aren't my problem. Muslims have never given me trouble. It's always the Christians and so-called Christians that have given me hell my 62 years on this earth. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's 100% facts. Muslims ain't got nothing to do with my problems over there, man. It's a distraction, Thomas, from the horrific policies that this man has put forward. The economy is going to go to hell. You know, remember, he acts like the Constitution don't matter. That's an act of war. He did not go through Congress. Okay? I'm pretty sure it would be. Okay? We're saying the United States government. We're saying that Israel has control over the United States government. Absolutely, I believe you, Buddy's Big Adventure. We're not arguing that, but y'all keep talking in hypothetics. This is a hypothetical statement you're making. Kamala Harris is not the president. Wake up, Buddy's Big Adventures. Hello. Okay, Trump is the president of the United States. He made that call. Don't be talking about Kamala Harris. Don't be talking about Biden. Don't be talking about Obama. Trump did that. It's on his watch. He fooled all of y'all. Yeah, it is. Thank you. Thank you. You said everything I should say it. Trump's not the president. Okay? I mean, Trump's the president. Kamala Harris is not. This is all on Trump. Y'all's leader. Okay? It's okay. Imagine the countries over there who are all the countries who have a nuclear weapon or who are developing, enriching uranium are part of that, Proliferation Act, but not, you guessed it, Israel. They won't even admit that they've got it, even though the international community knows that they've been developing nuclear weapons since the 60s. They're hypocritical. It's all about white supremacy. That's what it's about. Okay, this isn't against white folks. This is against white supremacy. The thought that white people are at the top of the hierarchy. Okay, and they should rule over everybody else. I'm sorry. That shit's old, man. It's dead. And we got to get rid of it for the good of everybody. I don't care what color you are. But they don't have to say anything, Ronald Country Boy, behind your back. That's what I said. Did you watch the video? It says, the name of the article is, what is she saying in your face? Because you don't understand one single word she's saying. But yeah, let's get to that. Let's get to that. This is to you, Ronald Country Boy. Filipinos don't need to talk behind your back. They can say whatever they want to say to your face because you don't understand nothing they're saying. This is the grave disadvantage we put ourselves in, even grave danger. But y'all don't want the information coming from me. You don't think a black man knows what's going on over here. Okay? That's all it is. Y'all don't want to give me credit. Well, you're going to hear it from me from now on. I'm not holding back anymore. Okay? Those other channels over here, man, come on, guys. Let's just say I'm equal to them. And the shit that they be talking about. I don't want to hear that, man, anymore. If you don't want to hear it from me, go somewhere else because you're going to hear it. Hey, JT, thanks for that super chat. He said, very sad getting involved in this nonsense. Expats, stay safe out there. As we in the U.S., need to watch out for terrorist attacks. Iran will retaliate. Absolutely. Trump didn't even give the false flag operation time to go into effect because the more he would have stalled, the more likely Israel was going to shoot a bomb over on one of them U.S. bases or something, or blow up something, because they're already using car bombs over in Iran. These are the real terrorists. Okay? Now you, he says, we give Israel $27 billion a year when there are so many issues in the U.S., we could use that money for it. Thank you. But do you see them on here? They're talking about guys who are shucking peanuts. and picking up nails off the construction site floor. They're worried about them, not the billions and billions of dollars. How many of our best and brightest men and women have died for Israel? Israel first, but it's not America first. I can give Israel that much credit. They put their needs first, but we don't. We put Israel first, then the United States. Yeah, because you got your head stuck up in your ass. There is a warning. Google it. Research it. There was credible threat that Israeli citizens were going to come under a terrorist attack. So do you think that if you're over there on Soy 6 or Walking Street and they target that the bombs and whatever is only going to kill Israelis, they're going to kill everybody around there because your head is stuck up in your ass. That's why. He said, got money for wars, but can't feed the poor. Yeah, you're right about this, but it's only going to translate Tagalog, Ronnie Lyles. Come on, guys. Do you realize how many dialects is over here in the Philippines? Am I the only one that knows that so many, whether it's 70 or 200? It's only going to translate Tagalog. What happens when they start speaking Chavacano down in Zamboanga or Ilongo over in Bacolod? It's not going to register, man. A Cebuana down in Cebu, Ronnie. That damn thing's going to malfunction and blow up in your damn ear. Okay? Y'all do anything to get around learning the language. I downplayed it. Okay? At my own peril. I don't even know what's going on in my own house. But we normalize this stuff. We act like, oh, it's no problem. It's no big deal. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's the source of most of your problems over here. Because you don't understand the language. You don't know when people are talking about you, plotting against you, or anything. But we all in over here. We get married, we're in the living lovers, businesses, retirement, and can't understand one sentence of the local language. But we think, oh, it's no big deal. This is one of those instances where, remember, just because everybody's doing it don't mean it's the right thing to do. Yeah. Just because everybody doesn't learn the language doesn't mean that's what we should be doing. But it's exactly what we're doing over here. And that's why we encounter so much trouble over here, even danger. Okay? You don't even know. Elliot Eastman would be here today if he could understand that local language where he was living. Okay? Because then he could gauge the temperature of his situation. He didn't need somebody else translating for him. Because women over here, they think they're looking after your best interest by not telling you everything. I don't want to hurt his feelings. I don't want him worrying. No, let me worry. Let me be the judge of that, of how much danger I'm in or how little danger I'm in. By the time they told him, it was too late. Hey, thank you, 11 Charlie, for the super chat. He said, I appreciate you, Cal. You feel like a friend I've never met, man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I was talking to a young man, Brandon Rice, yesterday. He basically said the same thing. And that's my appeal, man. That's what I want. That's why I'm on here. You need a friend over here. We need a friend over here. Okay, he said, no, Thai people are only concerned with eating and feeding their families. Yeah, but who says it was coming from Thai people? And evidently, you don't know that just like the Philippines has a sleeping giant down south, so does Thailand. But history don't mean anything to people like you, buddy, Big Adventure. This is why Thailand would be such a that's why they say it's a credible threat. You know why? because y'all not paying attention over there. It's the same way when, remember, go back in history in 2002 when they killed all them people in Bali. It was a right place at the right time. No one was, everybody's partying, everybody's drunk. Okay? Killed all those innocent people over there. Okay? Y'all crazy. Thanks, Will, bro, for that super chat. He said some people can't handle the truth. You know, it's the time that we give them more truth, Will. I would rather somebody hurt my feelings, man, than read my obituary. You know, I told y'all on that video, I said, I hope I'm wrong. But I knew I wasn't, because I know these bloodthirsty people. I grew up in America. I've watched the United States government. They've always been involved in something my whole life. We've never had peace over there. We're always in somebody's business instead of our own. Okay, remember I was talking about America first is bullshit. You see all the pushback I got when I was in America? They can't stand the truth. They don't want to hear from a black man telling them I told you so. It's not America first. It's Israel first. You mega people, man, y'all got food. He lied to y'all. He says, Filipinos try to be slick and talk and ask about you right in your face. They don't try, they do it. But it's no fault of their own. See, a lot of, you've been over here, Thomas, you could bear witness to this. A lot of people come here, certainly to relocate and retire, because so many of the masses can speak English as a second language. But what we don't understand is Filipinos speak very little English in the Philippines. Why would they? They're at home. They're in their country. We need to learn their language. They have to dust off their English when they see you. A lot of them. You know, so they don't even have to talk about you behind your back. They do it right in your face. Okay, that's why they're so shocked when you say something like, my own buntag. They look at you like, what? You mean you can understand? It shocks them. You know, and the more you know, you're like keeping an honest man honest, but you can't put the blame on them. That is squarely on our shoulders, but we don't want to do it. So we'll go out and buy these fancy AI translators, which won't translate all these languages over here, man. You go down in Mindanao, you're going to get all kinds of languages. Muslims down there have their own language. I forgot what they call it. But yeah, imagine they were plotting on Elliot Eastman right in his face. Okay, they're walking by him, you know, we're going to get you, but he couldn't understand what they were saying. He's not that stupid. If somebody was to tell me right now, Filipino, and I could understand it, that, hey, man, we're going to get your ass. I'm not waiting for Maryland to be like, oh, don't worry about it. I know those people. Yeah, don't, let me handle it. No, I'm out of here. But I can't understand it. Okay? When I go out to dinner with another couple and the women start speaking in tongue, basically, in their language, okay, we're in total darkness. And 99 times out of 100, no, 99.9 times out of 100, they're talking about us. Oh, how good is he in bed? Oh, he can't even get it up. As soon as he finishes this house and lot, I'm out of here. Or whatever. Now, he thinks he's slick. I know everything he's doing. Yeah, they're called dialects. We already know it. So many of them. But the thing is that we never see it coming. Thank you. We never see it coming. How many times have y'all heard me say that? And you don't know where it's coming from. Imagine if somebody moved in your neighborhood, just say a Filipino, let's say a Chinese, or just any foreigner, and he start carrying on with his life as if he understood English, but he doesn't know one syllable of English, one sentence. Wouldn't you think that was crazy? Wouldn't people take advantage of him? Absolutely, they would. Absolutely, they would. Well, ain't no epiphany. I've been knowing about it. I downplayed it. Okay? When I talk about this stuff, I'm talking about me, that maybe it will spur somebody else to do it, but I'd be a hypocrite, Mr. Red, if I told you, hey, man, learn the language over here. I'm telling you the grave disadvantage majority of us over here are in. Okay? Is what I'm telling you. You do with that information what you want to do with it. Don't try to put it back on me. Okay? I'm the messenger. Okay? Don't shoot the messenger. But nice try. I told you, I said, one of the craziest things that happen over here that I see in the Philippines happen is for foreigners to go all in, Mr. Red, in everything we do and not understand one sentence of the local language. It's crazier than sending money over here to strangers like we do in the beginning. It's way crazier than that because the stakes are much, much higher. But you're not going to hear anybody talk about that. You're not going to hear anybody talk about the perils of not understanding the language over here. Don't you know when the American got killed in the waterfront hotel? Imagine if he could speak Cebuana or Bisaya. He would have left. I don't care how drunk he is. If he knew that man was coming and the man was known to carry a pistol and all that, what's he going to hang around for? Hey, Confident Voice Speaks, thanks for that super chat. He said, talking in tongues, LOL. Yeah, they try to be slick. My girl has warned some of her friends that I'm picking up the language very quickly. Yeah, they don't have to talk behind our backs, man. They do it right in your face. How many times I got to tell you, I'm sitting right next to a Filipina. She's with her boyfriend, which is a good friend of mine, talking about me like a dog. The only reason I knew because the lady sitting next to me told me. I confronted him. He apologized. The lady never apologized. Sitting right next to me, all the while smiling. That's what you're dealing with if you don't know the language, guys. I mean, you know, don't push back on me. I'm just telling you the truth over here. I don't be making stuff up on here. I've been over here too long for that. I mean, give me some credit, man. I don't have to make up stuff just to put a video out. I'm a content creator. I'm telling you what it, you know, the nitty gritty, what I'm seeing in front of my face, what I'm living, what I'm experiencing. I don't know what they could be plotting against me in my own house. I wouldn't know it, guys. Okay. So what you do after a while, you stop trying with the ears and you try to let your intuition take over. But hell, that can only take you so far. You try to read people. By the time you got a bullet in the back of your head or whatever. Okay. Hey, 11 Charlie, thanks for that super chat. He said, need one hell of a lady to keep you safe over there, connected and loyal to you. Yeah. But when I say that trust is greater than love, y'all push back on that. Love ain't got nothing to do with what goes on over here. You better trust that woman you sleeping with. Okay? You better trust her. He said, I appreciate you, Cal, for being able to come up here and say you changed your way of thinking. On a lot of things, it's called growth, Blizzard Abroad. Nothing stays the same. You're not the same man you were 5 minutes ago. Remember we were talking about the earth is spinning 1,037 1/3 miles an hour while it's rocketing through the universe 60,000 miles an hour. You're not the same man you were 5 minutes ago. But your senses are lying to you. They're saying, I'm still looking at the same Calvin I've been looking at for the last 10 minutes. Now, the hairs on your head are turning white. But yeah, that means I'm still teachable, Blizzard Broad, at 62. Okay. It's a lot of things, man, that I've changed my mind about from 2009 to 2025. And if you say you haven't changed your mind today, you're lying. We change our mind so many times throughout the day, but they'll hold you to a standard higher than what they hold themselves to. Okay? I'm free today. I'm not going to let what some stranger thinks about me stop my growth. I'm free today. I don't have a plan. I just put that out there for you, Mr. Red. You do with that information what you want to do with it. Okay? He says it's important to know the language now more than ever. I only know Tagalog, but I need to learn Visayan. And you know, if they don't want you to understand what they're saying, they've got slang too. Okay? They're not doing it because they're not considerate. It's just like you going over. It's like me going to America. Then all of a sudden, Spanish people expect me to start speaking Spanish when I'm used to speaking English my whole entire life. It's the same thing over here. They're not doing it to spite you or anything. They're in their country. Why should they speak English? They only speak English because they had to speak English, Mr. Red, back in the history. But history doesn't matter to y'all. That's the only reason Filipinos speak English. It was the law. The United States made them speak English. If you wanted to go to school, you had to learn English. And you had to speak English. Okay, now that they're free of all that colonization and everything, they're like, I'll be damned. We're going to do what we want to do over here. I'm letting you know. Like the guy says, oh, man, it's like I got a friend. It's like you're a friend I never had. We need friends over here. But y'all won't even show up at the meet and greets, not realizing how important those meet and greets are. There's nothing I can say that you don't understand clearly. Okay? But imagine you're with a woman who understands you clearly, what you're saying, but you don't understand not one word she's uttering out of her mouth. Okay? You're at the mercy of her. We're at the mercy of Filipino people over here. It's a good thing that they are good people. It's a good thing that they are the best neighbors in the world. That's the, that's what they're called. The greatest neighbors in the world. Otherwise, man, our heads would be rolling down the street. Okay? That's the only thing saving you, but sometimes you can't depend on that. Look at the 81-year-old man and his 65-year-old Filipino wife. Killed. Robbery was the motive by a disgruntled former employee. Okay? Maybe the woman heard some things and didn't want to tell the man. Didn't want him worrying. He's 81. I didn't think it was a big enough threat. You know, our maid walked off the job about 2 weeks ago. Shocked me. To this day, I really don't know why, but it was something, a little misunderstanding, right, between her and the mother. 2 weeks later, she shows up at Booby School asking for her job back. And Merlin's mother's like, that's not my call. It's Calvin's call. And Merlin's like, well, no, we don't want her back. And I'm like, well, okay, you know better than I do. Okay, but who's to say that they don't see it some other kind of way? Because jobs over here, guys, mean something different than they do where you come from. A good job is hard to find. She had a great job, the best job she was ever going to have. Slave was 60 years old. I don't know how she feels about that. And then Marilyn say, because I told Marilyn, I said, I'm worried. Marilyn, don't worry about it. I know them. See, that's the kind of stuff that gets you killed. Okay? depending on somebody else to gauge that temperature for you and say, oh, it's not that hot really, and it's burning up. Next thing you know, you turn on the damn thing, oh, they done killed me over here, a former or disgruntled employee. This is, when you don't know the language, man, you would think somebody was crazy to do that. Before you even thought about coming to the Philippines and you were in America on the hamster wheel, talking in the break room with your friends, you would have never said, oh, I'm going to move to a whole different country and everything and not know the language, not be able to communicate at all, really. Hey, Freddie Sanders, thanks for that super chat. He said, they don't even bother to cover it up. You just end up dead or missing. But if I say that, they're going to push back. It doesn't matter what I say, they're going to push back. Okay. I'm saying the other day, I said, look, man, the numbers in the Philippines, the tourism numbers are down only because their top 2 tourists are not coming anymore. South Korea and China. Okay. That's going to make your numbers fall. Well, why aren't they coming anymore, Cal? Well, it's not the infrastructure. There's been some high-profile cases over here involving South Korean and Chinese nationals. Okay? And their governments, not Sunshine Shoulders. I didn't say it. Their governments are saying that the Philippines isn't doing enough to keep their citizens safe. So they're saying, don't even go over there. Okay, they want more promises from the Filipino government that they can be safe over here. It has nothing to do with the infrastructure because they've been coming over here for hundreds of years. It's never been about the infrastructure for South Koreans and Chinese. It's only these soft-ass Americans who worry about the infrastructure. You don't go to Jamaica worrying about the infrastructure. Or Trinidad or any of those other places. When you go on vacation, you're not worried about that. You're partying. You're on the beach. You're at the Taoist temple. You're at Leia's temple. You're at the tops. You're not worried about the infrastructure, man. Am I going to be safe over here? Then you put on top of all of that Elliot Eastman. Like that wasn't worldwide news when a young white man gets killed in the Philippines, kidnapped and murdered. Y'all want to act like that didn't reverberate around the whole planet. And it just added to people's insecurity about coming over here. I'm safer here than I've ever been at home. Because there's very little random crime. What happened to Elliot Eastman was not random, guys. It was not random. What happened to that couple, the 81-year-old American and his 65-year-old Filipino wife, was not random. What happened to the American, the 37-year-old American at the waterfront in Cebu was not random. It's personal. But they want to act like I don't know what I'm talking about over here. And I've only been over here for over 16 years. It's not like I'm trying to be a know-it-all. I'm just trying to give you the information, but you don't want it from me. You're not used to hearing it from a black man. You're used to getting all your information from white folks. It's called white supremacy. They're the only ones who are capable of giving you that information in your mind. Not just white folks, everybody. We want to look like them. We want to dye skin white. We want to wear long wigs. Okay? We take all this poison in our veins to lighten our skin and stuff. That's all it is, guys. I'm sorry. But I'm not going to hold back anymore. If you want to go somewhere else, go ahead. I'm trying to help y'all over here. And I'm not going to come with me on a grocery shopping spree and get you think if I took you to save more, I'd get 25,000 views. You wouldn't watch me. Okay? You wouldn't watch that. You got people taking you to, oh, look at my new apartment. Look at my grocery shopping. What else is some crazy stuff they'll do? Making up stories, and you click on there. But when you get off the plane, it's not going to help you one bit. Hey, Doubtful Genius, thanks for that super sticker. Yeah, tap the thumbs up, guys. But see, we've normalized this coming over here and not knowing the language. We act like it's okay. Oh, what could go wrong? Every damn thing. Every damn thing could go wrong. Okay? Your wife or girlfriend and your friends that you hang around with, all of a sudden, man, they flip that switch and you in total darkness. Why did you want to? Is it that bad? Why do you want to put up with that? What are you going to do about it, Mr. Red? Don't ask me. What are you going to do about it? Because I'm telling you what you're going to run into when you get over here. Yeah, the Filipinos speak English absolutely as a second or third language. But why would they speak English in their own country? Yeah, but guys, listen. There's so many dialects over here, paragraphics, that it's only going to pick up Tagalog. I've got friends, believe it or not, I can't think of this guy. He was originally from Haiti, but then he moved to Canada. That's where he met his wife. Then they lived in the Philippines for 5 years. They're back in Canada. I want to say Vancouver. He said, Calvin, he never came to Cebu or anywhere outside of Luzon. Guess what? Because his wife couldn't speak Visayan. You know, even though the people here can speak Tagalog, she couldn't speak Visayan. So they stayed up there. Those translators are going to blow up in your ear, man. So many dialects going through them damn thing. It's going to explode. You're going to have smoke coming out of your damn head. Yeah, but you know, you can, like I said, after a while, intuition takes over. We know this, though, to be fact. Because when you turn on the television, it's only white folks giving you the information. Only white folks are supposed to have nuclear weapons. Only they can have the ability to make the right judgment or the right decision. Non-blacks can't do that. So Iran, we don't want you to have a nuclear weapon. We're going to convince the world that you're a threat. When we're the only threat, we're the only country to ever use the nuclear weapon on another human being. Not once, but twice. And then we got the nerve to go around and tell somebody else. And guess what? Nuclear weapons was in the discussion about this attack with Iran because they're saying all these bunker bombs aren't going to take out the reactors or whatever it is. It's too far underground. So the United States was contemplating nuclear weapons. And when they brought it up, they said, oh, nothing's off the table. And then, okay, the people we're going in there for, who are adamant that Iran not have a nuclear weapon, Israel, they have a nuclear weapons of their own. As a matter of fact, they developed their nuclear weapons in secret. They're not even part of the nuclear weapon or proliferation agreement. Okay? How hypocritical is that? Well, is it a scam if we give them our money freely? What are you looking for, Charlie? Okay, since you're saying now he's on TikTok only looking for money from foreigners, their users. Okay, so what are you looking for? Let's make that clear. I want you to put it down here. Why are you coming 8,000 miles then? What do you want? See, it's crickets. When we turn the mirror around so you can look at yourself, Charlie, it's crickets. You want something from them too, but you're just too cowardly to say it. Or you think, oh, it's okay for you to want what you want, but it's not okay for them to want what they want. Yeah, this is what I was talking. This is all I was talking about. And this guy was he was either a chief or senior chief in the Navy. Confident Voice Speaks was. He said, at TJ, here comes the global shit show of random attacks. I won't be surprised if China tries to invade Taiwan when the Israel-Iran war gets hot and heavy? Okay, are you going to start hearing bombs going off again over here? When it got quiet, it was definitely quiet over here. But now, they got sleeper cells all over the world, man. They got them in the United States. Crazy, man. He says, I mean, it is the first lingua franca of the country. Spanish was limited to clergy and elites as per usual, and Tagalog was forced on everyone outside Luzon as the national language. Yeah, but before the Americans came here, TJ, there was no English spoken in the Philippines. I'm sorry. Okay? Unless the Spanish was speaking it. We forced it on the Filipinos. They had no choice. They didn't just all of a sudden decide, oh, we love America so much, we're just going to speak English. You know, we're going to throw all our other languages under the bus, and we're going to put English as the, you know, as the primary language. No, we made them do that. Okay, but history don't matter to y'all. History doesn't matter. That we killed so many Filipinos over here, they called it the Asian Holocaust. But y'all say, oh, that happened so long ago. And yeah, don't worry about that, Cal. But it's all connected. Y'all act like that the world just started today. It didn't start today. If you want to know how friendly and how hospitable Filipino people are, the fact that Americans are able to come here and visit and live is a great indication. Okay? Because I doubt if any Nazis is living over there in what they're calling Israel right now. I doubt that. Okay? He said, one of my nephews lives in Peru. He's a digital nomad. Thank God he understands Peruvian. He got out of a robbery. They were plotting against him. But we don't think it's going to happen to us. Whenever you hear about a foreigner getting killed over here or robbed or anything like that, what times it travels, it's not random. Does random stuff happen over here? Yeah, but very rarely when you're a foreigner. I was talking on I had a members only live stream yesterday, and I was telling them about there was a foreigner. I don't know if he was Belgian or Australian, but he was out drinking. Him and his buddy the night before his wedding here in Cebu. And it was about 2 or 3 in the morning. And 2 bad guys came by and you know, and asked him for their money. Well, he resisted and he got shot, and they end up taking 500 pesos from him. He damn near died. Does that happen? Yeah, but you know, remember, nothing good happens after midnight, guys. Okay? Yeah, it's not the case, guys. You know, it's not the case. If you go to Brazil, they're not going to speak English. Okay, they're probably going to speak Portuguese, and they don't give a damn what you think. Go to France, okay, and see if they're speaking English. You better learn French. I was talking to a great couple I met on when I was living in Siquijor. They were living in they were renting one of the cottages in front of mine. And the lady was hearing me. I was talking to somebody on the phone, and she said, oh, I just love, you know, the way you speak. She said, it sounds like poetry to me. Because, you know, I don't hear a lot of English over there where I am. She said, matter of fact, if you were to come to France, we're not going to try to speak English to you. You're going to have to learn French. But we come over here in the Philippines because we think we're better than Filipinos. We look down on Filipinos. You need to speak English. No, they're going to speak whatever they want to speak, their local language. It's your ass that's in the dark. But when somebody tries to say, hey, man, have you ever thought about that? Because it's really a misconception that when you get over here, everybody's going to speak English until they don't. Go to a birthday party. You can have your own birthday party in your own house. And they're not going to speak English. You're going to be sitting there looking stupid. Okay? He says, I'm using part of my inheritance money to take their language online and have a chance to at least understand what they say, especially when they're mad. It's a great idea. At least know the language, a little bit of it, some of it. It's out of respect to where you are. You know, if you're in Manila, learn Tagalog. Why would you try to learn Cebuano or Chavacano or Ilonggo or Visayan? At least say Magandang Umaga. At least know that. And know a few of the little bad words. Your girlfriend will tell you, but you got to ask them. Merlin's the only woman I've ever dealt with over here who voluntarily sat me down, and all the words I know, by the way, I learned from Maryland, because not only did she write them down, but she pronounced them for me. Because, you know, we butcher the language over here. They'll call, instead of Bacalit, they'll call it Bacalai. Instead of Barakai, Borakai. It's just simple stuff like that we butcher. So imagine if we're trying to say something like Mayan Bunta. But if they write it down and then pronounce it, that's how you learn. You know, repetition, repetition, repetition. So I can say stuff like Asakamuato. Like, where are you going? Or, you know, I'm going to M Lawyer. Now, there's a lot of M lawyers, but I say I'm going to M Lawyer Hatbang Gasano. That means across the street from Gasano. They know exactly where I'm going. I know enough, man, you know, to say, hey, I really, you know, I respect the people, I respect the culture. But if somebody's plotting against me, I'm not going to know it. Okay. When the lady sitting right next to me, I'm talking about, she talked about me like a dog. She said, I'm not a good example for her boyfriend. She don't want him hanging around me. Oh, you know, he's got another girlfriend, and on, man, you know. And I'm like, wow, really? All the while with a big smile on her face. He didn't even know what the lady was saying. He didn't even know the woman was, you know, she chewed me up and basically spit me out. And I didn't deserve that. Like, lady, I'm not doing anything. I don't even know you. But this is what we come up against over here. This is the grave disadvantage I'm telling y'all about. He says we need to have a basic understanding of the languages spoken around us. I live in California, and I'm familiar with Spanish, Korean, and Mandarin. It's foolish to only speak one language. Well, you got to understand that America, we're way behind the rest of the world in a lot of things. That's why when you people talk about, oh, we're the greatest country in the world, man, that's propaganda. That's indoctrination. Most of us only know one language, and hell, we don't know that very well. Dennis Kimbrough said, in a language that has over 600,000 words, the average American only speaks 1,200. Most of them only speak 600. Okay, Mr. Red, so yeah, you're right. But we think we're entitled. You know, it's that American, we're elite, you know, we're elite. You know, we're above everybody else. We don't have to learn another language. Okay, imagine something else you're going to run into when you come over here. And see, they're not giving you nothing over here. It's in they're using the metric system over here, Mr. Red. So you better get up on your math before you come over here. Because they don't have the translation like we do. 1 gallon and translate 3.73 liters. They don't have that. It's just going to be 1 liter, 1 kilogram. Okay, America, as great as we are, we're still on the Dewey Decimal System. Make that make sense. Inches, yards, miles. Man, we're so far behind the rest of the world. Infrastructure crumbling. But y'all still with this, oh, we're the greatest country in the world. It wasn't even long ago. Somebody's on here from Minnesota when the whole damn bridge collapsed. So many people died. Okay? I want to say that only happened once, but I believe it happened again. Okay, did you hear what I said? There was no natural disaster. There was no earthquake. the bridge in Minnesota collapsed. Okay? So when you talk about, yeah, we need to know more than one language, man, you're talking to Americans, man. We're some of the most elite people in the world, so-called elite. What's up, Michael? I'm just saying that, no, I know exactly what you're saying, Mr. Red. I'm just saying that I downplayed it. Okay? Maybe I need to start taking this language seriously over here, this Messiah. Maybe I should pay somebody. And I haven't really come to the conclusion. I haven't thrown my hands up and say I'm not going to do it, because the more I think about it, the more I need it. If I'm going to really stay over here, guys, we've normalized this foolishness. You're ignorant to stay over here all that long, myself included, and not know the language. But we act like it's okay because we see everybody else doing it. Your favorite vlogger's doing it. So you think, oh, because everybody else is doing it, it's okay for me not to learn the language. Because they'll tell you, oh, you don't need to learn it. You know, it's enough Filipinos over here to speak English. They're lying to you. That's bullshit. Man, it's a lot of national pride here, man. Why would they speak English over here? Unless they absolutely have to. It's their job to do it. Okay? I'm with Maryland, man. I don't know if anybody cares more about me than Maryland in the Philippines right now, other than Booby, right? And don't you know Maryland speaks 95% Bisaya? About 5% only when she's speaking to me. Yeah, you're exactly right. Tasug, or something like that. It's a couple of more. Even the what's the ones that are the ones that you see, the people of the sea. You know, you see them all the time. They'll dive way down, and you know, they still, you know, doing the spear fishing and stuff like that. You know, the Filipinos. Wait, my man is gone blind. Honey, where's Merlin? The gym. Oh, okay. Merlin went to the gym. I forgot, but they're all over the Philippines, but they're mostly down south. They've got their own language. Man, you put that damn translator on your ear, it's gonna blow up on you, man. You know, we're welcome here, though. That's the only good thing that saves us over here. The Filipinos really are the greatest neighbors in the world. They will accept you. They'll let you move right next to them, and they're not going to bother you. They're not going to force their language on you and all of that. That's the only thing that saves us over here. But I just want the lie that Filipinos speak so much English over here to be, you know, pushed to the side. But that's the reason why a lot of retirees choose the Philippines. They say, well, why the Philippines instead of Thailand? Well, because the people speak English. No, they can speak English, but they don't speak English. They can. Yeah, she quit, and I don't know how mad she is. I know she's mad, though. Okay? But let me put it out there that I didn't fire her. I didn't even know she was gone. I think I was either at the gym or somewhere, and I come back and they say, oh, yeah, I'm like, well, where's, you know, the helper? She walked off. And I'm like, well, what happened? You know, but I know how dire her situation is. Okay? She's literally the breadwinner, even though she's got grown children. So I didn't have a problem when she asked me for advances. She owes me now. I don't care. You can have that money because I know you need it. But I had advanced her the same day she walked off. She's a real good woman, a hard worker, man. She had become a part of my family. You know, I grew to love the woman, really. There's nothing I wouldn't have done for her. When I came from America, I bought her gifts too. Chocolate and lotion and different things like that. Okay? The cell phone that she's got right now, we co-signed for that. She would have never been able to get that cell phone. I'm going to have to pay for that cell phone one way or the other. Either she's working here and I'm giving it to her and paying it through her salary, or I'm just going to have to pay for it. Either way, I'm going to have to pay for it. But Merlin can't tell me how mad she is. I need to know that. Let me gauge the temperature. Okay? Because it's the best job she's ever had. She's not going to get a better job than she got here. But most of the time, I never told her what to do because she already knew what to do. And then when she would usually be done at 12, then she's in there in the aircon watching a smart TV. Okay? Something she don't have at home. Okay? It shocked me. I'm like, why would you quit the job when I know how bad you need it? You see these little houses behind me, these little squatter type houses, that's the type house she lives in. See, when Merlin told me that years ago, I knew. I was like, yeah, I'm going to look out for her. A job over here, it literally stands in between life and death a lot of cases. So, yeah, she's going to feel some kind of way about it. She knows everything about me. She knows my routine. Okay? But the only thing that's going to save me, she's probably a great woman. Other than that, I'm sorry. Yeah, but it's not something that, see, Aaron, here he is. Yeah, you're right about that. Okay, but out of all the millions of people, it's only going to be a small percentage of people who are content creators and remote workers. And then I said, the majority of people, you don't come to a place like the Philippines and worry about the infrastructure unless you plan to relocate here. Okay? And there's enough infrastructure here for you, Aaron, if you're a content creator and a remote worker. You act like we live in caves over here. I live better than you in the Philippines, than you live in America. Now, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Y'all act like we just living back in the 1800s over here. There's a Philippines that you can't afford to see, that you can't even afford to enjoy, Aaron. But that's the old tired, it's the infrastructure. If you got the money, damn it, you got the infrastructure. How much money you got, then that's how much infrastructure you're going to have. Now, tell me I'm lying. You guys come over and try to be cheap. Well, if you pay $25 for a hotel room, guess what? You're going to get $25 worth of infrastructure. Okay? Yeah, but you got to understand, though, TJ, that the Philippines is building their tourism industry. It was going up. Y'all act like the Philippines wasn't on the right track. Go back, man. Don't just talk this stuff. Look at the numbers. Math don't lie. The numbers don't lie. In 2009, the first year I came over here, only 204,000 Americans came to the Philippines. Fast forward to now. And in a slow year, they're saying this is a slow year, over 1 million. The Philippines was just now burgeoning and blossoming into a tourist place because of all the bad publicity and everything surrounding it, the reputation and all of that. It was bursting out of that shell. And then the pandemic slapped it in the face. I know what I'm talking about, man. In 2019, the Philippines welcomed 8.2 million people here. The most since they started, measuring and counting that, right? 16% year over year from 2018, which was more than 2017, which was more than 2016. People are staying longer here. They're spending more money here. It was only a matter of time. It was getting ready to explode. Okay? And then something called the pandemic happened. Well, they don't really. They're just telling their experience. He says, sorry, but these YouTube content creators romanticize the Philippines to a fault. Well, how can you say that their perspective is wrong? Remember JB 5443, there is no utopia. And if it was, we'd find a way to F it up. We're human beings. We've destroyed this planet. The only home we have, we've destroyed it. So it doesn't matter. Oh, it's beautiful over here. Then everybody's going to go over there and destroy it. You always want to put Thailand up there, but you don't want to tell the whole story. Over tourism comes with a cost, JB. The pollution over there. Have you ever seen how bad it is in Bangkok sometimes? Where you can't even come outside. The water. Okay, there's a price that they're paying. The tolerance of the locals is getting thinner and thinner every day over there. It's too many foreigners. Okay, in Thailand. A country of 69 million people, and on a slow year this year, it's 35 million foreigners. Okay, but the country's no bigger. And they're all in that 7, 8, 9 spots over there. All those 35 million. And you tell me that there's not going to be some type of consequences. Y'all just regurgitate stuff. I read. Okay? I try to research this stuff. I try to think this stuff all the way through. There is no utopia. Because human beings are going to destroy it anyway once we find out where it is. Just be happy where you are. But to say that the Philippines isn't everything that I said it is, you're not walking in my shoes. It is. I'm a whole lot better here than I am in my country. I told y'all on the video, I'm glad that the Philippines is lagging behind those countries. Okay? That comes with benefits. I'm not stumbling over you guys every 5 feet. If I wanted to do that and see Pookie and Ray Ray and Chad and Brad and Thad, I would have just stayed in America. I didn't even have to learn the Thai language in Thailand. When there's every 5 feet, there's a foreigner in my face. I thought I was at home. You know, he said I'm too busy watching, you know. Well, they're not. They don't have to. Remember, I told y'all, I said, because the guy was like, well, he was asking me about, what's it take to be a successful vlogger in the Philippines? I said, it helps if you're a white man and if you're a Filipino. Those are the two. If you think I'm lying, how many Filipino men have channels, have successful YouTube channels that are speaking to Westerners? I'll wait. Which there should be a Filipino man somewhere up at the top. If Filipino P's at the top, there should be a Filipino man not far from her who are spitting facts to us about the Philippines and this and that and dating and crime and all that. But there's not, because we wouldn't watch him probably. Okay? So if you're a white man and if you're a Filipina, you way up. The minute you start a channel, you're farther than everybody else. Okay? I'm just telling you. He says, what's up, Jack Wallfingers? My buddy, man. It's a great guy. Now, he knows more than one language. Okay? He says, speak, Cal. Their English is different than our English. Yeah, they'll tell you that I'm slang. I can't even, I can't even speak English properly, they told me over here. Imagine how insulted I feel when they tell me that. Okay? But hey, I'm over in that country. I'm in that home field. But then Kimbrough said 600,000 words in the English language. The average American speaks about 1,200. Most of us speak only about 600. But we're the greatest country in the world. We literally go to places and try to take them over. That's how we do when we come to the Philippines. It's the attitude we bring over here. I'm a big bad American. You know, telling that lie to everybody. Oh, they speak English in the Philippines. No, they don't. They speak Tagalog, Visayan, Chabacano, Ilonggo, and a bunch of other. Tostig and all that other stuff. Yeah, he said, that's why my wife doesn't want to go to Visayas. She can't speak Visayan. This is real. This is real right here. This is what the guy from Canada said. He said, Cal, I would love to come to Cebu because he was here in the Philippines for 5 straight years. They're back in Canada now. And I asked him, I said, you ever been to Cebu? He said, no, we never went. He said, because my wife can't speak Visayan. Now, if they know how important it is, language, and being able to speak the language and unable to speak it puts you in just a vicarious position over here, a shaky position over here. But we go all in. We don't just stick our toe in the water. We jump in the deep end and can't understand one line of the local language. How crazy is that? Y'all pushing back now because you say, okay, it ain't crazy. It's crazy to me. Okay? It's crazy to me, man. We act like it's no big deal. Yeah, it's a big deal. Well, what could go wrong? Everything. Yeah, but I'm saying, okay, here's what you missed my point, Blizzard Bride. He says, I watch a lot of male Filipino travel bloggers. They're not talking to us. I'm saying in our genre. We're a genre within a genre, Blizzard Abroad. You name me one Filipino vlogger that basically speaks to us, is what I'm saying. You can't name me one. Okay? There should be, I'm going to have to change over to my, there should be a Filipino at the top somewhere, a man. But it's not. There is no equivalent. There should be a Filipino who's the equivalent of Sunshine Shoulders or Old Dog New Tricks or Every Man Has a Story or Mike's Philippine Retirement and all the rest of them. Or Geo. There should be a Filipino man, but there is none because we won't watch him. Okay? He can't break through. You know, that's why it's not many big black channels over here, man. It's hard for us to break through. It's subconsciously, you know, I can't relate to him. Or whatever it is. I'm not used to getting information from a black face. I'm used to getting it from a white face, and then I just want to look at the Filipina anyway. I don't care what she's saying. Just let me see you. Put on a bikini. Splash around the water. Okay, this is the real nitty gritty. So when the guy says, hey, you know, how can I become, a successful YouTuber in the Philippines? Well, it helps to be a white man and a Filipino. Okay. That's just how it is. Let's see. All right, there. Let me cut this out. But you guys, y'all don't want to, y'all never really want to admit the truth. Don't be afraid, man. That's just the facts. There should be a Filipino vlogger over here giving us the nitty gritty, but it's not. There's not one man. There's not one Filipino man that's anywhere on the landscape. Are there Filipino travel vloggers out there? Absolutely, Blizzard Abroad. But you know there's none who talk about the stuff we talk about, who has any kind of traction. He's nowhere on the YouTube universe. I've never seen one come across my screen. I'm sorry, I got to push back against that. Well, we're not saying you don't. Okay, we didn't say that. I was asked a question. What does it take to be a successful YouTuber over there? I said it goes a long way if you're a white man, if you're a Filipino. Okay. Yeah, you can. But the numbers bear out what I'm saying. Okay. I'm just tell you, man, I don't live hypothetically. So I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. It is what it is. Okay. It is what it is. Y'all can keep in denial all you want. Yeah, he said, put on a bikini and do your thing. Splash around a little bit, talk about dating. I said a long time ago that they're the ones who should be giving us the inside information. They're on the inside, man. I'll always be on the outside. That's why I have to keep my blogs about me. Okay? Because as long as they're about me, I'm not going to ruffle too many feathers. But we're talking about what is she saying in your face? See, this is what our ego won't let us believe. That this little woman that we're supposed to dominate, we're supposed to have an advantage over her, man, she has the big advantage because she understands you clearly. You don't understand her. But we never think about it, okay? I'm sorry, we never think about that. We think we can get by with it by not knowing anything. I'm just going to do what everybody else does. And yeah. Somebody must have. I don't have a video saying I'm tired of the bullshit in the Philippines. No real friends. Talking about the hardships of living in the Philippines. Do I cover stuff like that? But no, nobody. The games that these trolls play, they'll steal your. All you gotta do is click on the channel. Okay, when you see Sunshine Shoulders, click on that. And if you don't see 3,000 videos, then that's not me. Okay, I'm sorry. Are there hardships of living over here? Yeah, I tell you about it all the time. One of them is you're away from your support group for years upon years. That has an effect on you. You don't know the language. That has an effect on you. You got 1 foot in the Philippines and 1 foot out of the Philippines. That's an effect on you. Hey, Norton Williams, hey, Calvin, when I went to Liloy, Zamboanga in April, there were miles of ocean fronts and beaches that looked like they had never been explored. You're going to get that down there. And I've got a friend right now who lives in Liloy. Okay? But you're right. And if you go even further south, there was places I couldn't go. My wife wouldn't let me go, because she was able to gauge that level of danger. It's like, no, you don't need to go there. One time, they took Gabe to Bossyland because her sister's in-law, her sister's husband's family were living over there. The husband was from Bossyland. And they have Gabe wrapped up like a mummy. They have my son wrapped up like a mummy because it's no joke over there. But I've never had any problems in Zamboanga. I mean, they probably treated me as well as I've ever been treated in the Philippines. I mean, honestly. And I was having even a better time until they told me, hey, the bad guys are here. I'm like, well, why would you tell me that? What little, the less I know, the better off I am. But once they told me that, it kind of like, it kind of blew my high, really. Now I'm looking around, my shoulders, peeking around corners, it, clicking on every thing I can find about the sleeping giant down there. But I guess it was a good thing. Hey, did y'all notice something? Y'all see my last video, right? I'm in Moncton, Newtown, and man, Moncton, Newtown's all that. But did y'all know I got a new microphone? I just tried it out, man. So nice. I was gonna try it today, so my next live stream, I'm gonna use it, and I'm gonna show you how much better I sound. I bought it when I was in America. I ordered it off Amazon. I said, let me, I need this. Michael Beat Your Life. See, he kind of inspires me as far as taking my equipment to another level, because this guy's got the equipment, guys. If he ever really went all in and was really wanted to do a YouTube channel, he's got it. But the one thing, when we were in Davao and he had that microphone, I said, no, I got to get this, and I basically got that. Now all I need to do is get the stick and put the little foam on top. But y'all heard me, right? I sounded a whole lot better, a whole lot clearer. It has the noise. It gets rid of all the noise in the background. And I only paid. I believe I paid like $49.95 or something. There's better quality, but I said, well, I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of money. I want to make sure this works, and it did. He says, I haven't seen any Filipinos talk about real issues that foreigners can relate to. Thank you, man. But it really doesn't matter what I say. Somebody's going to push back. I'm just telling you that there should be a Filipino out there. He should be somewhere on the landscape, but he's not. Okay? Giving us the inside information. Isn't that strange? Have you ever even thought about that? Like, where are the Filipino vloggers talking to us? Now, there was Roger, but I put him up on it. I had to educate him on it. I told him what to do. I steered his whole channel in a whole different direction. They were gamers before. If you think I'm lying, him and his wife bought their daughter to Booby's first birthday party. And I gave him this, I schooled him. He should pay me for the information I gave him. Okay? He wasn't even thinking to do that. Their channel was done. I said, look, man, here's what you need to do. Do this, X, Y, Z. The rest is history. Okay? He's the only one, and he had his wife with him. There should be more. But I'm responsible for that. I mean, you would think that, just a Filipino would see what's going on and see all the money that's being made in this genre within a genre. Because I told Raj, I said, man, there's money in this arena right here. What you're doing is nothing. At the time I told him this, guys, listen to this. I had about 1,000 subscribers. I had just, hit my 1,000 or whatever it was. He already had 11,000 subscribers, but they wasn't earning any money. He showed it to me. I think it was 200 pesos was their check that he showed me at the time. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't take any credit for their success. He took the information and ran with it. But you're right, Thomas. That's all I was saying. There are none. It's all women. There are no men. He was the only one. He said, the game is to be sold and not told, my brothers. But we need friends over here, Michael. Somebody, I've kicked in the door. If I got off YouTube today, there would be nothing else I would have to prove. I believe I blazed the trail over here for people to follow. I mean, give me that much credit. Okay, I don't have to do anything else. But the community's bigger than me now. I told y'all that a long time ago. All you got to do is come to a meet and greet. You'll see what I'm talking about. Go into this stream. There's conversations, many conversations going on within this stream. Within the stream. He said white men have a bigger audience. Yeah, but guess what? Because it includes black people. It includes Latinos. It includes Asians. Because we're used to getting our information from white folks. That's just the facts. Okay, I'm sorry. Frank, you know, he says, what's up? Welcome to the chat. He said, my channel is a prime example of what Calvin is saying. That's why I salute Calvin for having such a large and committed following and supporters. Keep it up, Cal. Yeah, he's got a good channel. They're just not used to getting the information from us. That's all. Because the same information you're giving is the same information everybody's giving over here. But they just don't want it from you or me. So when you take them to shopping and stuff like that, they don't want that from you. They want something else from you. I couldn't make a video. You see my subscription count is just now starting back up again. It's YouTube playing games. I was at 68.5 for 4 months. Now all of a sudden, the algorithm done caught me again. And maybe I hit 70 by the end of the month. I should have been over 70. I don't count those numbers. I can only control what I can control, my content. But we already know what's going on around here, man. But it's just not that many. If you look at Richie Rich Abroad, look at the views he gets. They got a tame channel. They got a good channel. Man, he's struggling to get 1,000 views, man, on his videos. I can't figure it out. So I don't even worry about it, really. But to sit up here and tell me that I'm lying, I'm making shit up. No, I'm just giving you the nitty gritty. I'm not going to shut up anymore. Okay? But yeah, let me talk about this before I forget. Moncton, Newtown, man. If you haven't been to Moncton, Newtown, if you show up there today, you're going to be like, man, this place is nice. I showed up there in 2022, and it was like a desert, really. I was like, what is all the fuss about? I'm not going to spend 10 million pesos for a condominium here or anything, right? And the lady was telling us about, oh, yeah, see over there, there's going to be a beach over there, a private beach for the residents, and blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. I'm just looking at her like, lady, you're selling a dream. No, man. This Moncton Newtown has come as far in 3 years as any place I've seen in the Philippines. And that's why when people say, oh, the infrastructure, well, how much infrastructure do you need, man? It's all up to you. Don't think that's infrastructure. Go look at the video I just made. I did that on purpose. I could have walked around talking about that, but I said, no, let me show them some infrastructure. There's pockets of that all over the Philippines. Okay, it's more than that. There's a level to the Philippines, man. If you got the money, you're going to get the infrastructure. But most of us don't have that kind of money. Okay? But the more money you got, the more infrastructure you got. But now when I go to Moncton, Newtown, I really don't want to leave. I was like, I can just stay here. It was crickets, man. There was nobody there. Now it's crowded with people. They got hotels there. They're building a big-ass convention center. They steadily putting up those big condo units. There's call centers there. There's international schools there. Restaurants, grocery stores. All they need right now, and it will be just as big as Cebu Business Park and IT Park, is an anchor mall. That's all they need. 53 Shades Darker said that there's a Landers getting ready to go up. If you watch that video, you see that Moncton sign that I showed right behind there. they're going to build a Landers. But if once they put that mall in there, yeah, that's really all they need. But I didn't see any of that. I'm not a visionary like that. But 53 Shades Darker saw something. Um, my buddy Sydney Gibson saw something because they invested and their investment is paid off. You know, without going into any detail, I believe if what 53 Shades Darker is saying is true, the building that my friend invested in, it's already doubled. You know, there's something to pre-selling. When you buy when they're pre-selling, you do get the best price. Then by the time they're finished, certainly in a place like Moncton, Newtown, now the price of your condo is jacked up. A lot of people do that. You know, they'll buy it and then once it's finished, they'll sell it for profit. He says, how do you think AI will affect the Philippines? I don't really know. You know, I'm not into the technology like that. Um, you mean as far as call centers and all that stuff? You know, there's still only so many things that AI can do. Artificial intelligence. Well, let's just call it for what it is. It's artificial intelligence. It's never going to be, uh, you know, the real thing. Okay, just like you see, they've been fooling us all this time with these realistic women robots. They're simply models in these robots. They fitted them in these robot outfits. And they got you guys thinking that, oh, China, as they're creating this, you know, they look just like women. That's because they are women. Okay, they haven't gotten that far yet. Okay, it's going to be like you buying something off Temu. Okay, you're going to buy one of those. You're going to spend 30,000 for what you think is a real, you know, a robot, which is a real woman in a damn robot suit, and you're going to end up getting a life-size Barbie or some bullshit like that. Okay, they can try all they want. They ain't gonna beat nature, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, all you guys looking forward to the day. Some guy was on here, yeah, 2030, we ain't gonna have to deal with women anymore. We can just go and spend, you know, 50,000 and be done with it. Yeah, most people watching this don't have 50,000 to spend on a damn doll. And that's not true. You know, they're gonna uh try. They won't be able to duplicate that woman, man. I'm sorry. And then you're going to have religious people, they're going to push back on that. You know, oh, okay. No, yeah, but see, these guys, they're, I talked a little bit about that when I answered him, but they took that video all out of context. All I said was, okay, that's why I interviewed 53 Shades Dark, and I asked him, I said, well, you love the Philippines as much as I do. So why do you spend 6 months there and 6 months here? And he broke it down for y'all. But if I say it, a lot of the things I say, man, I'm trying to help y'all because TJ, less than 1% of my viewers have ever been away from home anywhere near 6 consecutive years. I don't even think you've done it. Okay? Where you're not around anybody you know, you're not around anybody you recognize. The experts say that has an effect, a negative effect on you mentally. Okay? And this is what I was talking about. Okay? You need to be connected to your power every now and then. When you come over here and you stay gone for 6 years, basically what I was saying is I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay? I'm going to cut it up, maybe 8-4, maybe 9-3, maybe 10-2, whatever. It's not going to be 6 years in a row. That's what I was saying. But people, you know, you can't choose your audience. And remember, most people, TJ, according to YouTube, not me, About 85% of the people that commenting on the title of the video alone, they don't even watch it. Okay. But the information that I try to give y'all don't want it. It's going to help somebody out there. It may make you think twice. You know, a lot of people's like, oh, I'm selling everything. I'm never coming back to America. Okay, well, you're going to pay a price for that. I'm just telling you the price you're going to pay. I'm just telling you up front so you'll know you have more. They call that full disclosure in my business. See, that's one thing that a lot of the vlogs aren't doing over here. We're not giving full disclosure. The guy's right. Some people only talk about the good stuff. Some people only talk about the bad stuff. You got to kind of mix it up. But that's full disclosure. I don't care where you are. You know, you can be anywhere that they said if you remain in a place, okay, for a long time, and you don't know anybody, you don't recognize anybody, it's going to have negative effects. I even told you the negative effects. Identity, isolation, all kinds of stuff, man. But y'all just think I just be out here talking. I'm trying to have a conversation. We're in the break room at work. We're in the locker room. You know, we're doing our walk in the afternoon. But everybody wants to debate me like I'm W.E.B. Du Bois or somebody. Or what's the guy's name? Michael Dyson. I mean, yeah. One of those, you know, who's the guy who has the, you know, the real genius that's always talking about space? You know, we're trying to share information, guys. That's all. He said, yeah, it is great news. His investment doubled. By the time he moves into that condominium, it's ready. If you were to now try to buy a condominium in that building, it's going to cost you twice as much as what he paid for his. If you can go by what 53 Shades Darker said. Okay. And that, you know, and investing is this. It's a long-term strategy. That's why most people don't do it. We can't do it. We can't see that far down the road. The minute we get enough in there that we've never, an amount in there we've never seen before, we're taking it out. We live paycheck to paycheck. But the people who can, those are the ones who win. Imagine, you know, the ones who bought those stocks years and years and years ago. The Coke stocks, the Apple, you know, the Meta stocks when it wasn't Meta, whatever it was, you know, they made a lot of money. Confident Voice Speaks, thanks for that super chat. He said the isolation is real. That's why I'm back in the States and then to the U.S. Virgin Islands for a month or two before I head back. We're trying to help people, but all they want to do is, oh, did somebody hack your account? Look at what you're saying. You know, they're not listening. They're not even watching the video. They're picking and choosing. Oh, this is stuff I'm going to throw back at him. You know, I thought you said this. And, you know, like if you plant some grass seed out there, it's not going to grow. It's not going to transform from the seed to the grass. It's just going to stay in the seed form all the time. Everything changes, guys. Nothing stays the same. You're not the same man you were or woman 5 minutes ago. But that goes over y'all's heads because you're only using your 5 senses. You don't meditate. You don't read. You don't do nothing. You just sit there. You don't even guard your brain and you let anything come into your head. Now they're going out to, what's the guy's name? The Medea. Now they're saying he's a booty bandit. Saying he's having freak offs and all and trick offs and all that. They suing him for 260 million. All this stuff is a distraction, but y'all don't realize it. Instead of, you know, backing away from it, y'all like a moth to a flame. Y'all go closer and closer to it. You ain't getting nothing out of that. Okay, let him send Diddy away for 20 years. I'll let him walk free. It's not going to affect my life, man. I'm trying to do things that's going to make me live better for however much time I've got left. But again, he said, nobody wants to go there, bro. But Leroy is not, it's right around there where they finally caught where they killed those two people who had something to do with Elliot Eastman. It's like a couple of hours north of where he actually lived. But I've got a friend, he may be watching now from California. He's living in Leroy now. And I was trying to, just give him some information on it. But remember, guys, we're chasing the woman. As long as that woman's there, he ain't listening to nothing I'm saying. He didn't care that, hey, Eastman, problems he had was not too far from that. Okay, and Ippel, that's close to Ippel, where they kidnapped the Australian and held him for 10 months or something like that. And he damn near died. His situation was so bad, he wrote a book, a New York Times bestseller. But we don't hear any of that, okay? Because all you're doing is chasing the booty. You're not trying to learn the language or anything like that. These guys, man, these are smart people. He's got a successful business in California, man. This guy's got money. All he's listening to is them cheeks clapping. That's all. Let's get honest. That's all he's listening to. I was trying to tell him, like, look, man, all the women out there, you may want to, excuse me, slow down with her because she's had 3 foreigners already. They act like I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, they act like I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, it's not gonna. That's the other guy. I would not want a woman. I don't care what she looked like. Okay, now what's worse? A single mom that's had one man, or a single woman with no children that's had 10 men. Okay, because it's really all about you. We try to make it about the woman. No, it's about you. It's about the decision that you're going to have to make. Once you make the decision, what difference does it make what anybody says? But we got to justify it. We got to explain ourselves. No, you don't. You're a grown man. If you decide that you're going to date single mothers, then date single mothers. If you decide, hey, I'm not going to date single mothers, then do that and go on about your business. But stop making it about the woman. It's about you. Okay? A lot of guys, they say, I don't want to date a single mother. Number one, it's never about the woman. It's about the children. Okay? I don't want to take care of somebody else's children, they'll say. Okay, that's fine. But it's not about the woman. And then they'll say, I don't want to have to deal with the children's father, with her ex. And then, you really don't want to see the man. You don't want to see whose shoes you walking in. So it's about the child, it's about the man. Then it's about you, but it's all about you because now you're going to say, oh, I'm her last priority. You worry about how much time she's going to spend with you. It's never about the woman, guys. It's about you. Stop making it about the woman. You got to make that decision. He made the decision, so he really has no explanation for me. I just passed on some information to him to try to help him make a more informed decision. Remember, full disclosure. If a woman in the Philippines has had more than 1 or 2 boyfriends, guys, that's a red flag. That's not their culture over here. Okay? They date to marry. When you come over here, you're going to see it. Excuse me. Women have been with their husbands and their boyfriends since they were in high school. You see it more here than you do anywhere else that I've been. It's their culture. Okay, they're not trying to jump from bed to bed, by the time they get with you. So if you come over here and a woman's had 3 foreigners, well, how many Filipinos has she had? You got to ask yourself, well, how many dicks has she sucked? You know, do you really want to go down that rabbit hole? It's not about the woman, though. It's about you. You got to make the decision, man. It's that simple. Well, we want to make it about the woman. And then they'll say, oh, I don't want to take care of another man's child. No, it's just not your child you don't want to take care of. Ain't got nothing to do with that man. He said, my wife said, stay away from Mindanao. Well, so does the State Department, but Mindanao is vast. Okay, and it does have a 3. Now I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell you how much misinformation and disinformation is out there about the YouTube. It's out there about the Philippines on YouTube. I'm sorry. When you got people telling you that, oh, it's dangerous over there because the Philippines, the United States has a level 2 travel advisory on the Philippines. That doesn't mean nothing, dude. It doesn't mean most of the places that the United States, that we go outside the United States, it has at least a level 2. That's trying to keep you honest. That doesn't mean the place is dangerous, man. They're making whole videos, by the way. More and more of them. Oh, how dangerous the Philippines. The U.S. has raised no, it hasn't raised it. It's always been at level 2. Ever since I've been coming here over 6 years, 16 years. Okay, that doesn't make it dangerous. Now, if it was a level 3, like Trinidad, go to Trinidad. Go on travel.state.gov, and you're going to see level 3. That means reconsider your travel there. And then level 4 means don't go. Now, if it ever got to that point, which in some places in the Philippines, down in Mindanao, it is level 3 and level 4, but not the whole Philippines. Not even the majority of the Philippines is not level 3 or 4. Only Mindanao, basically. And they're just telling you, they're not telling you, don't go and reconsider. So even though Davao may be one of the safest cities in all of Asia, at one time it was the 7th safest city in the world when Duterte was mayor. So what are you going to do? Are you going to take your chances there? Probably. But they put that stuff out there for your protection. They know more about it than we do. They looked at me like I had 2 heads when I told them, man, if we attack Iran, they're going to wake up that sleeping giant down there like it's no sleeping giant there. There's a reason why it's level 3 and level 4. Okay? You'll see. And again, I'm going to say this. I hope I'm wrong. But yeah, he said, I stay in Mindanao. Not all places in Mindanao are dangerous. And you got to make that decision for yourself. The State Department said, all of Mindanao is level 3. Some areas there are level 4. But the only way you're going to know is boots on the ground. Remember, we're trying to hit a target from 8,000 miles away. There's people watching this who've never been over here. They're going to say, I'm staying away from Mindanao. Don't go to Mindanao. Excuse me, because they said it's dangerous. Well, here's a man who lives there full time. But it's boots on the ground. Now, don't go boots on the ground in Marawi or Lanao del Sur is a place you very seldom hear about. Maguindanao, you don't hear about. Those are level 4, guys. North Cotabato, that's level 4. The United States don't have to tell you it's level 4. I'm telling you it's level 4. Okay? But there's certain places down there are just as safe as anywhere else. What's up, Juice? Yeah, my man, all we are is a man, guys, with a body. It's all mental. It's all mental. When you go to the gym, it's all mental. Even though you're eventually going to see the results in your body, it's all mental. Everything is mental, man. All this body is designed to do is to carry around this magnificent mind of yours. That's all it's for. You take this out and it's gone. It's nothing. You're not going to walk around without your brain, without your mind. So it's all mental. But when somebody tries to give you information like that, you push back on that. Oh, he doesn't like it in the Philippines. Why don't you like it in America? I don't want to go, but I've got to go for my mental health, which that's all I've got. Okay? If I'm a man with a body, then I got to protect this up here. And what goes in here? Y'all just let anything go in here. He said, yeah, man. Yeah, peeking around corners. But yeah, Mockton is really good. Also, how much of the local language have y'all mastered here where you going? See, a lot of this information can help the new people who haven't come over here yet. It gives them something to think about. Maybe they're already taking, what's that popular language learning course? They say that you can learn a language real quick. Maybe they're saying, okay, I'm doing the right thing. He said, also in my last job, I worked with a few Filipinos, but they were all from Luzon, and they said the same things. Yeah, they're all going to say the same things, but here's what you have to understand when you come over here. Most of the people you deal with, they've never been anywhere. They don't travel a lot. They're busy working, or going to school, or trying to make ends meet. They haven't been anywhere. When I took Maryland we've been to Mindanao several times now. She's never been to Mindanao before. But just going off the reputation, they'll say don't go there. It's the same reason people tell you don't come to the Philippines. They're going off the reputation. They don't realize 120 million people are here. 7,000 islands. It's not all level 3 and 4. You can you can live your whole life in the Philippines to the fullest and never even go to Mindanao. You don't even have to worry about that. But you better worry about the language barrier. That's what you better worry about. See, we worry about all kind of stuff, but we don't worry about that. Yeah, see, when I was doing, okay, now that video that I did about Expat Alley, now that's an important video. It gets 1.9 thousand views. I'm like, well, what information do y'all want? Okay, because Butuan City is certainly Expat Alley, even though it's in Mindanao. Mindanao's got several Expat Alleys. And I was just telling you what constitutes an Expat Alley. It has to have the big hospitals. It has to have the big malls. It has to have the immigration. It has to have expats. It has to have, the nightlife and the grocery stores. It's like y'all really like, oh, I ain't clicking on that. I don't need to know that. Yeah, you need to know that. Because the guy asked, Harry Shoulders asked, he said, hey, it's Tacloban City, Expat Alley. Absolutely, I said, without even hesitating. I could go this far. It has to have the airport, okay, which Butuan City does have. If it doesn't have all that, you can't consider it Expat Alley. But a lot of the new people need to start in Expat Alley somewhere if you want a smooth landing here in the Philippines. I don't know if I could do a more important video than that, but nobody wants to watch that kind of stuff. All y'all want to talk about is dating. The easiest thing over here to do. All you got to do is get a profile on the damn dating site. Okay, now what? You're done, basically. Okay? But the important stuff, like language, where to live, where you can be safe, where you can spread your wings, you don't want to hear anything about that. Okay? A lot of times in these expat alley places, this is where you get your feet wet in the Philippines. This is where you learn about the Philippines. Am I going to like it? Where you don't have to worry about infrastructure. They have enough infrastructure for you. I mean, how much infrastructure does somebody have to have? And are we confusing infrastructure with modernity? Is it modern or is it beautiful? I don't understand, because it's through infrastructure that you're able to fly into the country. The airports are infrastructure. Okay? But this is where you say the Philippines is the Philippines. It's not America. It's not France. It's not Thailand. It's the Philippines. And that's why a lot of people like it. Why would you want to go someplace where it's just like where you left? That's the thing. There's some trade-offs everywhere you go. Like I said, when you go to Indonesia, okay, they're strict over there. They're strict in Singapore. Are you going to be welcome? Are you going to be able to? Yeah, Rosetta Stone. That's it. Thank you, Raymond. Were you able to go to the Manila American Memorial Cemetery? If you didn't, shame on you, man. He said, now I've never used Rosetta Stone, never needed it, but many friends of mine have, and they vouch for it. If you're fluent in Tagalog, man, I got to tip my hat to you, because this is your first time coming over here. I mean, how did you learn that language so fast? As we get older, man, learning a new language takes a whole lot. I mean, I got to say, you're damn near like a genius. He said, Harry, you can go anywhere you want. His regular guy traveled the entire island on motorcycle in Mindanao. Well, he knew where he was going. He didn't go everywhere. Okay. I'm telling you that now, because he can't go anywhere. He's not welcome everywhere. And if he did, he kept that helmet on and he was covered up. Okay, because let him go to Lanao del Sur. I know what you're talking about, And remember, he was, sticking and moving. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're just going to sit there and be a sitting duck, yeah, you got problems down there in some of those places, man. If the State Department, that's why I quit saying it's safe. I say it's safe for me, because I don't know Paul K. I don't know Harry Shoulders. I don't know any of you. I don't know what you're into. I don't know where you're going, who you're going to hang with. I don't know any of that, but I know they know more than I do. I didn't even know until I found out around 2012 that they broke up a sleeper cell for Abu Sayyaf in Bohol. They were going to start kidnapping foreigners from Peng Lao. I mean, it was going to be like shooting fish in a barrel, basically. But, the United States, in conjunction with the Philippine authorities, broke that up. A lot of y'all don't even know that. We go to Bohol now like it's nothing. I guarantee you there's remnants probably left over. They know what they're talking about, man. That's why when Trump, when he ignored the intelligence community and said, okay, well, I'm going to bomb Iran anyway, when the intelligence community says, look, man, they're no closer to having nuclear weapons than they've ever had. Y'all got to understand, they've been repeating this lie, man, for 40 years. But he's the only president that did it. Okay, the rest of them was like, people ain't got no, they listen to their intelligence community. You know, now you done dragged us into this war. Now we're not going to be safe anywhere in the world. You know, they hate us already with that elitist attitude that we have. Oh, I'm going to make the Filipinos speak English. No, you're not. You're going to look stupid over here. You don't know what they're saying. They're plotting right in front of you. Why would you want to put yourself in that situation? Because you see so many other people doing it. So you think if everybody else is doing it, it must be okay. No, it's not okay. You're at a grave disadvantage and also grave danger. But I'm not going to tell you to learn the language because I don't know it. But I got a good woman next to me. Okay. I've been fortunate in that aspect, but that's not enough, man. Because she, in her effort to protect me, man, she's going to overprotect me. She's going to say, oh, I ain't going to tell him everything. He may leave. My golden goose may take wings and fly away. I don't want him to worry over here and have a heart attack. See, I don't want that, man. I want to be able to make those type of life and death situations on my own. Elliot Eastman put his life in the palm of her family's hand, and it cost him. There's nobody in their right mind who really knows that they're in danger that's going to stand there and, you know, and suffer the consequences. See, he was making those videos, guys, for views. He didn't really think that he was in trouble. Why would you stay there if you really thought you were in trouble? But he was making these videos before the world started watching him. He was getting 100 something views, 63 views. Nobody was watching him. It's only after he died. If he really knew his life was in danger and it was hot and heavy, talking about killing him for whatever reason it was, man, there's no way man wasn't ready to die. I'm sorry. He said, bro, if I knew someone wanted to kidnap me, I would be out like a pregnant nun in the church. Absolutely, you would. You wouldn't be laughing and joking about it, making YouTube videos about it, trying to get views and stuff. That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to get a successful YouTube channel so he wouldn't have to go back home. He didn't have enough money to live there. So he was taking chances, loan sharking and stuff like that. Sorry store and stuff like that. He was doing everything he can to stay here. He was only, what, 26 or something? But sometimes you got to have help to beat that algorithm. You know, just where he was, there was no help. There was no other YouTubers that he could have collaborated with or something like that. But if y'all think that he just sit around and waited on people to kill him, man, y'all don't know human nature. Nobody wants to die. It's bad enough we're going to die. He said Trump took over 100 million from AIPAC and Miriam Adelson. He had no choice but to bomb Iran. Also, Epstein likely sent dirty tapes to Bibi to blackmail the Orange Menace. We all know something's going on. He was the first president. They've all, you know, bend the knee to Israel. We already know that. I mean, there's no sense in you even acting like that's not true. And we give billions and billions of dollars and weapons to Israel every year. It's Israel first. Okay, it's all about white supremacy. They're the only white people in that region. They're not from there. Okay, their State Department spokesman, which would be equivalent to our State Department spokesman, he's from England. That's where he was born, in London. Okay, but see, it's going to be more than just dead bodies, man. Look, if Iran does everything it says it's going to do, the economy is going to collapse. What if they shut off their part of the Persian Gulf and the Straits of Hormuz and all that oil that's coming through there, man. You ain't gonna be able to afford to drive your car. Everything's gonna shoot up, man. You know, but he didn't have no choice. Not an intelligent choice if he wanted to stay in office, you know, but it just shows you he's a liar, man. Hey, Rudy Reyes, welcome to the fourth quarter. Thank you for your support, man. I appreciate that. I'm on my phone, man. I can't really see you. But yeah, he's done it. But then when I made the video, are you gonna be safe around the world? Oh, it's not gonna happen, Cal. You're jumping the gun, Cal. When everybody who sat through the Iraq debacle, that, you know, those horrific events surrounding Iraq should know that we were going to bomb Iran and get involved. When the same people who led us into the war against Iraq are beating the war drums to go into Iran. For the same reason, the same lie. They've got this man going, they got Netanyahu going back way many years, talking about how close Iran is to a nuclear weapon, guys, man. But y'all just sitting around letting it happen. Not doing anything, not speaking up, not calling your congressman, not writing your congressman. This man went to war unconstitutionally. He just said, forget the Congress. But I can't say that Trump's the only one that did that. But they're circumventing the Constitution, man. And if it doesn't mean anything, then just tear it up then. What's the point of having it? If Congress is the only one that can declare war, remember, he's not a dictator, although he wants to be. Clown wears stilts. He wears a diaper, okay, a catheter. He can't even hold his piss and his poop. Yeah, he's 79, out of shape. Man, look, let me be quiet. Because a lot of people on here, he's their hero. He's not my hero. None of them were my heroes. Because they all work for the same master. Don't care what you call yourself, Democrat or Republican, the same thing. The man was right. We probably would have still did the same thing under Kamala. But Kamala's not the president. Trump is. She didn't say anything about cutting off funding to Israel and stop funding that genocide and Holocaust that's going down in Gaza. They're in Gaza, Syria, Lebanon, now Iran. But when you say it out loud, people get mad at you. That's the nitty gritty. That's real life. That's what's going on right now. It's going to be our sons and daughters and grandsons and granddaughters over there fighting that war, over there dying for nothing. And they're not going to find anything that they're telling you they're going to find. Okay? Iran, you know, go look up don't go by the definition of the West, what a Muslim is and what Islam is. Look it up for yourself. It's the religion of peace. Do you got extremists in Islam and you extremists? Well, absolutely, but you certainly got them in the Christian religion. I've never had a problem with Muslims. I've always been Christian. Every single time. Yeah, he was basically broke over here. He saw everybody else. He was watching our channels. He was seeing everybody else like, man, I want that easy money too. You know, but they think it's easy. They think anybody can start a channel and, you know, get 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 a month to stay over here. Oh, good luck with that. Okay. It takes a whole lot of luck, a whole lot of time. And okay. He had one of the things though. He was white, but that's all he had going for him. And he wasn't around long enough. You know, and his whole stick was basically, oh, they're going to kidnap me. Oh, I'm living in a dangerous area. Well, nobody wants to hear that 24/7, 7 days a week. You never were going to break the algorithm with that. But I really feel sorry for him, man. My heart goes out to him. He was a young guy, man. He didn't know any better. He certainly wasn't listening to us. You know, you can give out all the information. There you are, man. Thank you, Rudy. Appreciate it. You can give out all the information you want. People, they're going to chase the booty. That's why they're here. They don't want to know about nothing else. Now they're telling people, oh, just come over here, get a woman, and then take her back. This is what people are telling you now to do. Crazy, man. There's no full disclosure. There's no full disclosure. He said the truth is love, compassion, trust, peace, and joy and happiness. And the realization that all people come from the same source. Yeah. That's what the happiness really is. I guess it was a big sigh of relief. I guess I was in the 7th grade or the 8th grade. The 7th or the 8th grade when I realized that, you know what? They've been lying to me all this time. I'm no different than anybody else. I'm just as smart and just as intelligent and just as capable as anyone else. Because that was the first year of busing. When I had to go to school with my white friends. And I said, well, all the stuff they were talking about was lying. They're no better than I am. I'm certainly faster. I'm just as smart as they are. And so what's the big deal about it? But you got to fight the power with one hand and then take care of business with the other. I was talking with Brandon yesterday. We've done that so much that we think that's the norm, man. It's really no way to live. So when I come over here, I can just make it happen. I don't have to fight the power. And my life has gotten better at a price, though. My family and all my support's over there. But yeah, once we realize that, why can't we live in peace? Because people don't want peace. They're greedy. It's what it's all about. They said that God promised them that land over there, but now all of a sudden, they know more than God. It's not enough. We want Gaza now. We want the West Bank. We want to invade in Lebanon and Syria and Iran. So it's never about God and what God promised them. Okay? Because I don't want anything to do with a guy who's going to sanction that sort of killing that Americans do, that the West does, and the West sanctions. The American government is the granddaddy of all granddaddies, guys, when it comes to killing and maiming and starving and all that. Nobody can beat America at that game. Okay, I'm just telling you facts. Nobody can beat us at that game. What was the lady's name at one time, the Secretary of State, when we first put those sanctions on Iran a long time ago? And she was talking about, she estimated that 250,000 innocent men, women, and children were going to die. This is years ago, guys. Y'all done forgot all about that. That's terrorism. When you put strict sanctions so hard on the country, they can't get nothing on the inside there. Iran has resorted to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to basically, go around the sanctions. But what was her name? Madeline. Somebody help me. They knew when they put them sanctions on there, the 250,000, it was going to kill at least 250,000. There's more ways that they can put economic warfare, that hurt them more than bullets. Because they killed far more people than these damn bombs are going to kill. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They have their differences for whatever reason. Okay, but like I said, I've never had a problem with a Shia or Sunni, Orthodox, Nation of Islam, any of them. It's always been these Christians and so-called Christians, I must be totally frank, that's giving me hell. my whole entire life. Okay? That's who's giving me hell. They don't want that. They don't want that. They don't want that because that could easily be, we could easily have that. There's no need to have poverty and starvation. Nobody should be starving on this earth. But you got people who are so damn greedy that they don't care that little babies are starving to death. They said there's nothing worse than starving to death and dying of thirst. And you got so many children around the world dying of both. And these people got the nerve to get on their knees at night and pray to some God. Y'all crazy, man. I'm not holding back anymore. Unsubscribe for me if you want. I'm sick of this, man. It's got to end. White supremacy's got to end for everybody. Okay? If you believe in that ideology, F you. But we got to bring that down for the good of whites, blacks, Latinos, Asians, whatever race, nationality you are. That has to end. Otherwise, we're going to keep on fighting these wars. We're going to keep on having this economic meltdowns and all of that. Okay? It is what it is. Okay? I'm sorry. We ain't got no damn power. Not that we exercise power. He says, we the people have the power, but they work to keep us separate and full of division and distracted with the bullshit of the day. Yeah, but this isn't bullshit, it's war. And I have to agree with you. You know, because they got us fighting over immigration. That's not the problem. It's never been the problem. They just gonna move the goalposts. Or it's the drugs. Remember it was the drugs? What happened to the war on drugs? But they think that we've got amnesia. If you go back and I'm gonna tell you how stupid and how disrespectful these leaders are. That you can follow them all the way back decades and they're saying the same thing over and over and over. Like we're not hearing what they're saying, like we're not paying attention. Even when Trump was talking about 2 weeks, the only reason he pulled this shit here had to do with that. Because they said, hey, every time, an important issue comes up, he says, oh, I'll get back with you in 2 weeks. They got on his case about that, which usually means he never done anything about it. So this time, I'm going to show you, because he's a narcissist. He's an egomaniac. I'm going to bring the whole world into a war just to make myself look good. I've got nuclear weapons. The country I represent has nuclear weapons. We've actually used them twice on people. Killed hundreds of thousands of innocent men, women, children. And we got the nerve to have bases over there in Japan right now. Okay? We still got our foot on their neck over there. And here's Israel. They're developing their nuclear program in secret. They're not even a part of that proliferation agreement. They're the only ones, by the way. But they're going to tell Iran, you can't have nuclear weapons. They want you to take your focus off the Holocaust that they're committing in the Gaza, man. Don't y'all care about what's going on over there? You should, if you're so-called Christian. He says psyops are nothing more than diversions and distractions. Okay, if we know that, then when are we going to do something? We got all the answers right here. So when are you going to do something? When are we going to say enough is enough? When is somebody out here going to run for office and say, I'm going to change something? I'm going to throw a monkey wrench inside there and mess everything up. I'm not going to take any money from APAC and all that other stuff and see if I can win. But I'm going to expose my opponent who's taking money. Okay, you got people, man, who sold America down the river, but y'all worry about an expat over here making $2,000 or $3,000 a month on YouTube. Okay, this is the distractions we're talking about. Oh, he's getting disability when he shouldn't. And you got billionaires who aren't paying not a penny in income tax. But you worried about somebody who got an extra $16 worth of food stamps last month. Or he got an extra stimulus check or whatever it is. We are sick over there in America. Napoleon Hill said, if you can't do nothing else, you can remove yourself from the situation. That's what I did, because I wasn't going to sit around and argue and stew and boil and all that foolishness over there. People are afraid to stand up and even say anything about it. But you worried about if somebody got, oh, he got that unemployment during the lockdowns. Well, damn it, those people are paying for that. They take that out of our check every week. What am I supposed to do with it? What is the government supposed to do with our taxes? Okay, don't be afraid. I was talking to a guy on WhatsApp the other day, and his sister had to remind him he lost his job after 20 years. And sister's like, you better go up there and apply for unemployment, you know. And I told him, I said, man, there's shame in your game. You've been paying into it for 20-something years. That's what it's there for when you need it. But that's what we're worried about. We're not worried about people like Elon Musk who aren't paying a dime in taxes, and all these other people. They're sucking the life out of the rest of us. They want every damn dime. They don't want you to have nothing. But you all on my back. This is the problem. We look up to rich people. We already know Israel has nuclear weapons, but they won't even deny it. But they'll deny it though. Yeah, but they're not going to let Bernie Sanders in there, man. They're not going to let Bernie Sanders in there. And then now they're talking up what's the lady's name? They call her AOC. Lady, you're not the best that the United States has to offer. The best that the United States has to offer won't even run for office. I mean, but if you're going to play games like that, they knew who they were going up against with Trump. It's almost like the Democrats were in cahoots with the Republicans. You're going to put maybe the weakest candidate since Walter Mondale up against Trump and expect Kamala Harris to win? Come on, guys. Now they making all kind of excuses. Look, if y'all going to play them games, put Michelle Obama up there then. You know, if somebody like that, you know, on that level who can really beat this man. Maybe there's something about her we don't know. I'm just saying, y'all know what I'm saying. Man, I don't know what they were thinking. Trump has maniacs, fanatics. He's in head of a cult. It was gonna take, you know, if you thought Obama was popular, it was gonna take somebody on a whole other level than Obama to beat Trump. The Democrat side didn't have it. There's no way he should have got in there. It was like they wanted him to get in there because they didn't put. Man, this lady didn't even. I mean, she wouldn't even admit she was black. She wouldn't even start talking to the black people and to the Palestinians and all that till it was too late. It's too late, lady. We don't want to hear that. And then when they asked her, well, what are you going to do differently than Joe Biden? She's going to have the nerve to say, well, not much is going to change. I wouldn't do much different. Well, lady, you sunk your own ship right there. This guy been asleep at the wheel for 8 years. I mean, 4 years. But thank y'all so much, man, for your super chat, super stickers, all your thumbs up, all your support for Sunshine Shoulders, man. I didn't know it got this late. I'm on here ranting and raving, man. Y'all know, man, we be having a good time on here, man. But I ain't holding back no more. If you think they hated me before, they really gonna hate me now. Okay? because I'm going back to the nitty gritty. Y'all can kiss my black ass. This white supremacy is going to end in my lifetime. It ain't going to take 1,000 years like they said it was going to take. I want freedom, justice, and equality for everybody. We all in the fourth quarter. We all in the fourth quarter. You don't know how much time you got. Keep on letting these people play with your life and the lives of your children and grandchildren. Land and stuff like that. He said, people from other countries don't understand why Americans are so abhorrent to paying taxes. One reason is that they can see where their tax money is going because they have universal health care. Yeah. The thing about it is our taxes are so high, but we're getting very little from it. If the elites and the richest of us just pay their share of taxes, that's all. The infrastructure would stop crumbling. America's infrastructure, you always talk about infrastructure. Talk about America's infrastructure. It's not improving. A whole bridge collapsed in Minnesota, guys. Remember that? And all those people lost their lives. Y'all act like that didn't happen. Amtrak is our speed rail system. But y'all sitting here talking about America's the greatest country in the world. We don't have universal health care. People are still owing for their student loans. Everything's for sale over there, including the lives of our children and grandchildren who are going to fight these wars. How many F-35s are they going to shoot down over there and capture the pilots and torture them and probably kill them? Okay, but then they're going to send his body back and, oh, he died, protecting the country. No, he didn't. He died fighting Israel's war. He died fighting the war of the rich, guys. Take care, man. I'll see y'all next time. Thank y'all for the super chat, super stickers, all your thumbs up, all your support for Sunshine Shoulders. Be looking out for the next meet and greet. I'm waiting for John. John, if you're watching, get back with me, man. What's going on with the place in Bacala? Because my buddy I had breakfast with today, he told me he can get a place in Sickihor, which, that sounds interesting. He says, yeah, Cal, I know the manager. He said, we can get that place. It's big enough, too, and it's right on the beach. I said, wow, that would be nice. But take care, y'all. Keep your head on a swivel because we're not safe anywhere now. They've woken up the sleeping giant. These sleeper cells are awaiting their marching orders, guys. Y'all think I'm joking. You'll see.